Hello everybody. Today we're going to be going live with Satshya Tharien. She's in the edutainment sector and a blogger who's used her social media presence to sensitize the society on issues that are the very backbone of our society. And as you all know, the Women Inspiring Network took shape last year during lockdown, and we've had more than 20 million reach. And tomorrow we have a very, very exciting panel discussion, which we're doing in association with US Embassy in New Delhi, where our esteemed panelists includes Meghna Ghaipuri, who's President Whistling Woods, Prachi Telan, who's a sports personality, Shruti Seth, Gitanjali Babbar, who's from an NGO who's working with liberating sex workers. And these are some of our key panelists tomorrow, and I'm very, very excited. So please do watch us live on FB. And I can see Satya has just joined us. She's okay. I'm just waiting. Hi, Satya. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Stuti.
us.
Thank you so
And
much
I
for
was
having
just
me.
Yes, and I was just telling our viewers a lot about you. How you're an independent content creator and you've had an audience which has grown into 100K plus. And, your content is really, really light-hearted. And I was telling our viewers also all about, this interesting panel discussion which we're doing with US Embassy tomorrow, where we have Meghna Ghai, Ruma, Narsinghani, Gitanjali Babbar, Prachi Telan. So these are some of our key panelists tomorrow, and we are very, very excited to have everybody speak on our forum tomorrow. And since lockdown, we've had a 20 million reach, but I will not take so much of the time on the Women Inspiring Network. But I want you to tell us a bit about your journey and how have you grown the following, and how do you stand apart from the others?
I think my journey, I think like a lot of content creators on Instagram right now is all because of the lockdown and reels being launched at the same time. I think I just saw this new feature that Instagram had brought in, and I thought, why not give it a shot? And I just started making videos. It was as simple as that. And when I realized that there were some things that were clicking, some things that people seem to like a lot, I just started doing more of it. And then I actually started thinking about what I want to do, what I want to achieve, what is the kind of content I want to put out there. And so, yeah, I began thinking seriously about my content and planning it and when to post, what to post, those sort of things. And it's just been that and consistency that has sort of brought me here. But I think largely it has to do with if you see a new feature being introduced on a product, like for example, Instagram, right? They were pushing reels out a lot. So it's just a matter of observing what's happening around you, seeing what's working, and then giving it a shot yourself.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And on that note, the Women Inspiring Network actually took shape last year during lockdown. So we have a very interesting story.
Okay.
So actually, I run a communication business, and I've been really interested in women leadership, and because I've gone for several programs, and in some way I wanted to pay it forward. And last year during the lockdown in April, we partnered with someone and we did a webinar, and I wanted to do 2 sessions on women change makers. So we had a
Okay.
total of 70 panelists, but 2 sessions and 14 panel discussions, but 2 was dedicated to women. And I was like, why am I not putting all that content which we've done in the webinar on Instagram?
Yeah.
And that's how the Women Inspiring Network like sort of just propelled. And then we started doing lives. So while we were recommending our clients to do lives, when the brands are talking about it, but the inspirational stories and the journey personally kept me and my team very motivated. And now, of course, we have 5,000 plus members, and we've grown organically. When we keep doing these partner events on FB, we've had a great reach of 20 million. But yes, what you said about exploring and exploiting, and and that's how things can sort of take into shape. So you've actually done a lot in the World Wide Web, and your poem "Not Your Sugar" that went viral. I would like you to throw some light on that.
Yeah, so I think that was in 2017, I guess. I was working at a news channel at that point of time, and I was on the night shift. And I was working on a story regarding a politician named Abu Azmi, who had talked about how women are like sugar, and you shouldn't blame it if ants come when they are around, or women are like petrol, you shouldn't be surprised if there's a fire. And I was so angry that someone is still objectifying women and um, not just putting all the onus and the blame on us, but also just treating us like objects who are to blame for everything in the world. And I was just so angry. And so, usually, when I have like a lot of emotions, I usually just find my
Think
release in writing. Yeah. So, I just wrote something down and then I just filmed it, put it on my Facebook page, and I went to sleep because I was working on the night shift. And then when I woke up later in the evening, I see that it's gone pretty big. So yeah, that was surprising.
But I
But
love what
yeah,
you're saying, because just this morning I was telling my team about the German gymnastic team in the Olympics, how they've changed from leotards to unitards, because they said,
yeah.
like, they were getting all objectified, and, why can't we wear completely till your legs, and. So that was a strong statement to make, but I can totally relate. And suppose you get a lot of backlash on voicing your opinions, how do you deal with that?
I think you have to look at what they are saying. If it's constructive criticism where they're pointing out probably a flaw in what you said or you're factually incorrect, and then you take it in your stride and you have to admit, okay, I made a mistake, it was wrong. But if it's things like, I don't like your voice, I don't like your face, I mean, those are things I can't change, right? Uh, if it's hate and trolling, then you just ignore it because I mean, what's the point of engaging with someone? And that's something I learned very early on is don't engage with people who just want to hate because that will take you nowhere. Because they're not going to be convinced that, oh, your face is fine or your voice is fine or your accent is fine. They're not going to be convinced by you telling them, hey, let's have a conversation. It's not going to happen. So just let it go.
And as a content creator, what do you feel the future of content creation is, and how are the audiences going to perceive it?
I think the future is going to be all about being authentic. I think in the past, Instagram was all about the perfect shot, the perfect body, the perfect aesthetic, which is not what it's anymore. And I like that because I feel like people are a lot more real and honest now. And I think as a viewer, I like it. And I think that's what a lot of people like and appreciate as well. Because the fact that you can connect with someone who you've never met, but you have something in common, that works. And just in terms of content itself, I think that, or content creators, I think a lot more people are thinking bigger than just one platform. You see a lot of people, maybe they start on Instagram and they move on to YouTube and then go on to build their own products and their own companies from there. Or like how you mentioned that you have a strong presence both on Instagram and on Facebook, and you're growing both of that. So it's all going to be about diversification in the future and bringing things that no one has seen before.
And I can see all your fans with Salaki, someone from Sydney. And why is everybody saying say easy? Is there a joke behind it which I don't know?
Yeah, I usually end all my videos with the word easy. So it's become like a
Yeah,
catchphrase now.
yeah. So interesting. And your mantra is believed to be inner conviction for your cause that could shield you from any kind of fear. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, I think you have to know where you stand, what your values are, and what your convictions are, and stand by them, be steadfast by them. For example, if there are certain products I won't endorse, I just won't endorse it. Like I'm very clear that this is what I'll do, this is what I won't do. But if at the same time, I think you also have to be open to having conversations with people about it. If they have an opposing view on an opinion you have, you'll be okay with saying, okay, let's have a conversation. I want to know why you think this way, and I want you to know why I think this way. And if at the end of it you change your mind, great. If you don't, agree to a disagree and stand by it. But you cannot say one thing in one place and act another thing. Like you cannot say you're pro women and you're for women's rights and at the same time be tearing someone down based on their looks or other factors like that. So um, find your convictions pretty early on, and standing by it, I think, has kept me grounded as well. So yeah, I hope to keep doing that.
And you've spoken on a variety of issues in society. So what's this to fight list, to do list that you have? I mean, I want to know actually more about to fight list.
To fight? Oh, do you mean like the things that I wish would change in society?
Yes.
Definitely more equality for women, more and not just in offices, but I think even just in our conversations with women, in our interactions with other women, and not just look at women's rights only to be for one urban section of working professionals, but it has to be for everyone, right? So just start changing the way you talk to your mother at home, to your sister at home, to everyone else at home. It has to start from there, and I think that's like the main thing I'd want to see affected in society, and also seeing young people being more aware of their choices, and them being a voice instead of being treated like kids until you're the age of like 24 and suddenly you become an adult who has to be married off. Like I'd like to see people become more independent early on.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And you have a passion for cooking.
Yes, I
So tell
love
us more
food.
about it. What do you like to cook? And
So I like exploring all kinds of cuisine, but I think the cuisine that makes me excited a lot is if it has a new technique, or if it has a new flavor, or if it just when I'm reading the description or I'm looking at the picture and I get excited, like that's the kind of food I like to make. Like I love there's this Brazilian milk pudding that I just saw a picture of on Instagram and I was like, this looks amazing. I want to make it. So it's just a matter of then looking at the ingredients, getting the ingredients, and then making it. Honestly, anyone can cook. Like it's that simple. All the ingredients are there, all the instructions are right there. You don't need to know some fancy theory to do it. You just have to believe you can, and you will be able to do it. Yeah.
and the viewers, if you have a question, you can of course ask a question, and we will ask her. And but do feel free to give us some questions. And what is this Kudla COVID Volunteers organization, and how did you create it? So I would like you to throw some light on that.
So it was basically a volunteer-run organization that I co-founded with two other people. It was a response to all of these SOS calls that we had seen on social media in the month of April, and we had seen all of this happening in bigger cities, and we knew that it was a matter of time until it happened in Mangalore as well. So we just wanted to be prepared, and have all the related resources in one place and tell people like, listen, we have one spreadsheet which is constantly updated by a volunteer, so that if you have a requirement, say for example oxygen, you don't have to put out a story on Instagram and wait like 24 hours for people to throw numbers at you. Then you have to individually call them and follow leads. You don't have to do that and waste your time, because time is of the essence here. So you just come to our spreadsheet, you look at the numbers, talk to the person who's supplying oxygen, and get connected. That's as simple as that. We just wanted to make the process as seamless and as painless as possible.
That's so amazing, because we were also disappointed when the second wave hit us in Delhi, and and then we thought that we should have a voice, and then instead of complaining, we started this whole conversation on how can we be the change.
Mhm.
And you can create about some change in your lifestyle or anything. Like what's the point of really complaining? But I love this question, which is thoughts on toxic masculinity. What support can be provided to men around mental health?
What support? I think the same support and resources are available to women. You have therapists that you can go to talk about things. And definitely, I mean, if there is something you want to highlight that you feel people are being treated unfairly about, there's always social media that you can talk to. Yeah, that's where I think that's it.
Yeah, and talking to each other really helps. And I mean, now when we sort of look at mental health, like with in the Wimbledon with Naomi Osaka, like such personalities talking about it. She's world number one tennis player, and US number world gymnast Simone Biles talking about it. All that is of course going to have an impact. And now more and more people, like even in our own country, people like Deepika Padukone, and I think many other people have actually voiced their mental health issues. And how can we sensitize and encourage other women to discard deep patriarchal conditioning towards other women? Petite
I
has
think
asked us this question.
I think this largely has to do with your own behavior, right? People learn by observing other people. For example, a lot of people talk about supporting women in the workplace, but you don't really see someone doing it. In my case, it was someone talking to a senior person in my office and just saying like, "Hey, I was there, and she's like, "Hey, Sacha does really good work in this, and she does a great job at it." And she didn't have any incentive to be saying that. I didn't ask her to say that, but she just took that plunge and she said it. And that made me feel so good. And I was like, oh, I should probably be doing this with other people. So whenever you get a chance, like just like publicly acknowledge someone's work, be of support to them, stand up for them when someone's being sexist towards them. There are so many things that you can do that will make people feel like, hey, I need to be more supportive to other people. Because if you're just talking about theory and saying, we need to do this, we need to do that, second wave feminism, third wave, like that doesn't really apply in the real world scenario if you don't really put it into action. So, if you're someone who's already trying to remove all of these patriarchal notions of women, do it more publicly and talk about it as much as you can.
That's a very very good advice, and I wanted to ask you what has kept you positive, through your journey, specifically last year, because the pandemic has really taken a toll on many people. But how do you keep yourself positive?
What really helps is I'm back home with my family. It was really difficult for me when I was away from them. And yeah, it's been really good being with family. I've got a very supportive family, so I'm very blessed that way. And positive, I think I do have my bad days. I have days where I just feel like what I'm doing is terrible and I don't want to put out videos and stuff like that. But um, it's just those moments that I allow myself to feel that and be like, okay, what am I really upset about? And just introspect and then look at like all the positives in my life and say, okay, I have all this. Like I shouldn't be so ungrateful, and like I have this to look forward to, this to look forward to. And of course, I think for me, what brings me a lot of joy and happiness is like thinking of new ideas to create content on, like reels on. And I love it when people engage with it and they relate to it, or when they message me saying, this made me laugh, this made my mom laugh. Like that makes my day. So making content has really really helped me a lot. Yeah.
So that's very the way you said it. And if you all know anyone who has an inspirational story, do ask them to DM us. And of course, if anyone would like to join our network, please go to our website, www.womeninspiringnetwork.com, and you can share your inspirational story. Because and I can see one comment which says, I met you as a panelist at NCC almost a year ago, followed you since. You're wonderful, powerful, making a difference. Respect. So a
Thank you
lot
so
of
much.
your fans are out there. So would you like to give a message in Kannada, or speak something in Kannada? That's your mother tongue, I'm assuming, because I believe I saw some comment that you know many, many languages.
So my mother tongue is actually Malayalam, but I've lived in
Okay.
Karnataka all my life. But I can speak in Kannada, it's fine. Ellarigu
You can speak in any
namaskaraಗಳು.
language actually, a message, either or.
Uh, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. Uh, I'm feeling very shy now. Um, ನನ್ನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಓಕೆ ಐ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಶೈ ಬಟ್
That's okay.
ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ ನೀವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಿಯಾ ಆ, ನೀವು ಚಾಯ್ ಕುಡ್ದಿಯಾ ಆ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
not to
was
worry.
really nice. And wish to see you perform soon in Sydney. Are you going to be doing something in Sydney?
No, but I'd love to visit Sydney whenever the travel ban like opens up. I'd love to go.
But I really, really enjoyed talking to you. In fact, when I'm seeing such messages and you're so young, as I was mentioning earlier, when you had just joined, our session tomorrow is on youth and empowerment with American Embassy in New Delhi, which is virtual live on Facebook. So we have Meghna Ghaipuri, who's president Whistling Woods, Shruti Seth, the actor, Roma Narsinghani, who's represented India in Digital Fashion Weeks. We have Gitanjali Babbar from the NGO, which deals with sex workers. And we have Prachi Telan, who's represented India in netball and has been the captain of the netball team. So we are very, very excited for this panel discussion. So any of our viewers would like to watch us live on Facebook tomorrow. It's at 5 p.m. So they could, of course, do that. And now that we've reached the end of our session, Satya, I want you to actually tell me what's the meaning of your name. Does it mean truth or something?
It means witness.
Witness.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was pretty close. So I want you to leave us with a inspirational message, a winning message for all our viewers. And since it's the Youth Empowerment Month, like anything which our viewers sitting across India can get, inspired by. And I'd love to get a message from you.
Um, I think it's very important for you to keep your eyes on the stars, but your feet on the ground. I think this is a saying by, I think, Eleanor Roosevelt, and I felt it resonate a lot. Other than that, I think if you want to start something and you want to do something on your own, just start. Don't worry too much about getting the right equipment, getting the right knowledge, getting the right setting and all of that. Just start, because the more you delay, the more you will realize and you'll start self-doubting yourself. And yeah, if you, whatever you want to do, have a plan in mind of these are the things I definitely need to know before I start. Get that in place and then just start. And even if you don't succeed, you'll, along the way, you'll learn a bunch of things that will help you later on, because there are so many things I tried in the past that did not work out, that failed horribly, but that has all helped me and that's brought me where I am today. So don't miss out on an opportunity just because you're scared it'll fail, because yeah, it might fail, but you learn something from it eventually.
That's very true. I mean, I started my communication business when I was 23, and all comfortable. And then I started something, with along with that, which is the Women Inspiring Network last year. I feel when you look at things very clearly, there's always going to be an opportunity, or there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So you just have to keep going at it, be positive, and everything would fall into place. So that's a really, really good advice. And I really, really enjoyed our conversation. So thank you so much for joining us today, and hope to see you again on our platform once again when we're doing these panel discussions, and hope to have you soon on that. But thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you in person someday.
Thank you so much, Stuti. Thank you so much for having me, and all the best for your panel tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And thank you from the Women Inspiring Network team. And we were talking about some new things which people can try. So this was something which we tried, which is the wind filter, which someone created it for us. So,
Very
one
cool,
time we
very
were
cool.
doing a live, so you could sort of do that. So I thought I'll probably show that. But
Nice,
thank
very
you
cool.
so much.
All right, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone who joined this live and
Yes,
participated. I really appreciate your presence here. All right, see you. Bye.
yes. Bye-bye. Bye.